In my business relationships and partnerships, I kept running into the same painful pattern. Even though I thought I had clearly stated what I stood for and exactly what I was and wasn't responsible for, people would still end up disappointed or even angry. It wasn't always a dramatic blow up. Sometimes it was subtle, a cold email, a sudden pullback, a project ending without warning. But it left me wondering, didn't I make myself clear enough? Didn't they understand? As a 5-1 in human design, this pattern was baked into my profile. And once I finally understood this, I stopped losing trust, money, and opportunities. If you're a 5-1 entrepreneur, what I'm about to share with you might save you thousands of euros or dollars and years of misunderstandings. So let me give you an example. A while ago, I had a coaching session with a 5-1 manifesting generator client, a very successful man, very charismatic, and he was doing really well in his business. He's smart, strategic, and he's, for him, very clear about his offers. He lays out his terms with his clients up front, and he thinks, I'm setting the right boundaries here. But time and time again, he notices that it blows up in his face. Despite all his preparation, it always led to misunderstandings or disappointment. Clients would feel betrayed, collaborators would feel misled, and this sometimes led to some serious issues. Even ended up in court cases. And yes, money was lost, and this was painful. None of it had any bad intentions. It was all about people having invisible expectations, and he knew this. And he asked me, what can I do about this? How can I anticipate this? So as a 5-1 myself, I know that people will project onto me a certain role, a fantasy, that I'm their savior or their perfect partner, and that I will provide a solution to everything. And when you don't match that image, they will not say, oops, that was my projection. No, they will blame you. What changed for me was understanding the mechanism of projection in human design. By understanding actually the different defined centers and what effect it has on the people, so that you can learn to anticipate it, and this will help you understand how people project onto you. So let's have a look at your projection points, which is your defined centers. People will project onto you what you have defined and what they don't have defined. This means that if it's colored in your chart, if the shapes are colored in your chart, and it is not colored in the chart of the people you're working with, they are going to project that back to you. So let's go over these 9 centers quickly, so that you can understand how you can prevent misunderstanding and anticipate this better in your business. So the first center that we're going to look at is the defined root. So when you have a defined root and other people don't, you will have noticed that you kind of stress people out without meaning to. So for example, if you're asking someone, hey, how far are you on that project? Have you done what I asked for? They will feel stressed, even though your intention was, I just want to know where you are so that I can plan around it and anticipate it. You need to say that, because if you don't, that person is going to think, oh my God, they're putting pressure on me. They're angry because I haven't finished it yet, and they will feel rushed. You need to understand that you have this effect on people if you have a defined root center. The second center is the solar plexus center. When you have a defined solar plexus, it means that you have very deep emotions and they come and go in cycles. There's nothing dramatic about it, but it's just that you notice that there are periods of melancholy, there are periods where you're happier than others, which is very normal for you. But when it comes to people who don't have a defined solar plexus center, they will reflect this back to you. So it might happen that sometimes people are very warm with you, very bubbly, and at other times they're very cold and distant towards you. And it's very important that you don't make this personal, that you don't draw any conclusions about that. It's just that they are reflecting some emotions that you are feeling at that exact moment. So sometimes you just need to ask yourself, okay, is there something that I'm feeling inside that I haven't acknowledged yet? It's more about that. It's not about you making it, they're unhappy about something, or it's just the fact that there are some unresolved emotions there. When you have a defined sacral center, you're either a manifesting generator or a generator. You have a lot of energy from morning till evening. And what could happen is that people who don't have the center defined feel drawn to your energy. They feel like, oh my God, I can get things done. And they want to be around you to be able to finish work. And this could make them push on your boundaries. This could make them try to make you work longer because you're in a flow. Because usually they don't get to be this efficient, except when they're around you, they're more efficient. So they want to use that ooey gooey energy of yours. If you have a defined spleen and other people don't, people tend to project their fears onto you. This is really annoying because when you try to propose a new project, the first reaction is, are you sure this is a good idea? Aren't you afraid that, and blah, blah, blah. And you need to understand that people will project fears onto you. And this is because you have a defined spleen. You are very good at dealing with fears and dealing with how to know how to navigate new situations. And people rely on you to take this fear away. You need to learn to show them that there's nothing to be afraid about. Don't make it about you. Don't be angry about the fact that people aren't supporting you. This is not about the fact that they don't want to support you. This is just about the fact that everything you do makes them fearful that it's not going to work out. So be mindful of the fact that you have this effect on them. When you have a defined ego, you have the capacity to motivate people. You have the capacity to make people very competitive. This competition may fall away once you're out of their energy. So they might be very motivated to do something and completely on board. And once you're out of their energy, they're like, nah, I'm not going to do it. So don't be disappointed afterwards when you think, hey, we discussed this. Weren't we saying that we were going to do this? And then they realized afterwards that they're not so enthusiastic about it. Don't get angry about it because you have this capacity to motivate others and you need to become aware of that. And not everybody has this consistent motivation, has consistent willpower. That's something that's very specific to you if you have a defined ego center. Let's move on to a defined G center. When you have a defined G center, you know exactly who you are. You know the direction you want to go into. You know what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And that is super inspiring. People feel very much drawn to that, especially when they don't have a defined G center. Know that if they feel good around you, they will behave in a certain way around you because they are like chameleons. They are going to copy and reflect your identity. So that makes you think that they are a certain way, but when they are around other people, they behave absolutely differently. And you think that they are fake. It's not that they're fake. It's just that they don't have a defined G center, and this makes them very flexible in their identity because they reflect the people around them. If you have a defined throat center and other people don't, you will have a great advantage in discussing things when talking with other people. But this also means that you will be dominant, that sometimes you will talk over them because you know exactly what to say, because you are charismatic, because you have a way of expressing yourself, and they will feel like you are pushing them back and that they can't express themselves with you. While in your mind you think that, oh, but if you don't like something, just say it. If there's something wrong, why don't you just explain it? It's just that not everybody has the gift to be able to explain things very clearly. It's not because you are able to communicate amazingly well that it means that other people do as well. If you have a defined ajna, you are very analytical, you have a very fixed way of thinking, and that can come off as being very stubborn. You also have this way of inspiring people, of generating ideas, of putting people's mind at work. And that can be an advantage, but it also can be a disadvantage because it makes people overthink certain things. And then if you have a defined crown and other people don't, you might put seeds of doubt into people, or you might be inspiring. If you find that people are extremely doubtful around you, it's because you have this way of putting pressure in their mind. You have this way of asking yourself, why doesn't this work this way? Why doesn't this work this way? But it might have a very anxious effect on the people around you. So that is something that you might also be mindful about. So if you have a lot of defined centers, people will project a whole lot of things onto you. And don't blame them, don't blame yourself. It's just the way it is. Learn to work with it so that you can save a whole lot of pain and a lot of money loss. Just ask yourself, how are they reacting to my aura? And how can I anticipate it? What can I do about it? Now, with that being said, with a 5-1, use your practical mind. You are here to offer practical solutions. So knowing how the different chakra centers are actually influencing the people around you, you can now start thinking of practical ways to work with them. So it's always very easy if you know their human design as well, but if you don't, you will probably notice it by their behavior around you. And secondly, you're a 5-1. Do not forget to take some time away from everything and everyone. As a 5-1, you need alone time. And with alone time, I do not mean you watching Netflix series or watching TV or reading a book. That's not being alone. Being alone is really taking the time, asking yourself, what is going on in my life right now? How am I feeling? Why am I feeling a certain way? What are the projections that people are having towards me right now? And how can I work with that? That is being alone as a 5-1 so that you can ground in your energy. So I hope you found this video helpful. If ever you need help with interpreting why you have certain projections, reach out to me. And stop trying to fix the outer conflict. Try to understand the inner mechanics within yourself. If this resonates, leave a comment, like this video, share it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.